Hey everyone, so today I have this 896 page unaliving indictment for Stephan Michael Sterns. We're going to start on this. I don't think that we'll be finishing it today. This will be a several part video, but I wanted to go ahead and come out here and share this with you. I've read the first couple of pages and I'm going to read them to you in a particular way to make it easier to understand. I have not read all of this, so I will be reading it with you for the first time here in this video. So it starts by telling us that the state attorney, Andrew Bain, of the Ninth Judicial Circuit of Orange and Osceola County, Florida, gave us this document. The defendant is Stephan Michael Sterns. It gives us the case number. This was printed on June 11th, 2024, and it tells us if the requested records contain any of the following confidential and or exempt information, it has been redacted or withheld pursuant to applicable law. And it states if there is active criminal investigative or intelligence information and or substance of confessions, that won't be in there. Attorney work product, autopsy photographs, audio recordings and video recordings, Department of Motor Vehicle information, FCIC/NCIC records, Form 52 clinical record, and or medical information and or EMS records and or forensic behavioral health evaluations, identifying information of confidential informants, identifying information of victims of sexual offenses and or child abuse, items sealed by order of the court, surveillance security camera footage. Okay? So we are going to skip down to some police narratives real quick so that you understand what these first couple of documents are. So we're going to go to page 8. I'm going to read you these couple of narratives, and then we'll go back up so you can see what the other pages were. So we will actually start with this one. This is a supplemental report written by Crime Analysis Supervisor D. Cita. And it states, on March 1st, 2024, at approximately 14:30 hours or 2:30 p.m., I was contacted by Major Hinderman and requested to respond to the American Classic Charter School located at, and it gives us the address, to assist with the search for a missing juvenile as an assist to Kissimmee Police Department. Upon arrival, I was tasked with identifying areas of interest to search on a map based on tips received and video footage obtained. At approximately 1600 hours, I was contacted by Lieutenant Yeager, who advised he was sending a male in a white truck to the command post to give me information regarding a possible area of interest. At 16:05 hours, I was contacted by Mr., and it gives us the witness to the flat tire. He advised he had seen the news conference earlier this date and wanted to report a possible sighting of the suspect vehicle from Monday, February 26, 2024. He stated he saw the suspect vehicle, a silver sedan, pulled off Hickory Tree Road and a subject with a tire iron in his hand, wearing a black shirt and a green hat on backwards, standing near the vehicle, and he had made eye contact with the subject. He stated he was not exactly sure of the time, but it was around 13:20 hours in the afternoon. I asked Mr. Karras if he would mind stepping out of his vehicle and showing me on a map of the exact location. Using my agency-issued laptop, I pulled up a map to the location he saw the subject at on Monday, February 26, 2024. The latitude and longitude of the location he pointed out were noted, and Mr. Karras shared via airdrop to my work cell phone photos he took of the spot that day, March 1st, 2024, for reference. These photos were later emailed to Kissimmee Police Department. The location provided by Mr. Karras was passed along to Sergeant Swain, Captain McGone, and Major Hinderman as a point of interest at the command post. I was also contacted by Detective Lorenzo while on scene at the command post. He advised he had collected video from, and it gives us the address, and asked if I could have it reviewed for a sighting of the vehicle. I watched 3 time frames he provided and found a possible match to the subject vehicle traveling north on Hickory Tree Road, and one of the clips attached to the email with the time frame of, and it gives us that. The clip containing the vehicle was forwarded to Kissimmee Police Department. I advised Kissimmee Police Department that I didn't watch further, but there was additional video should they want to reach out to the resident at that address. This concludes my involvement in this case. This supplemental was written by Sergeant Swan. And it states, on March 1st, 2024, this agency received information that a possible suspect involved in a missing person case was in Osceola County. The suspect was seen by a witness in the area of, and it gives us the address, changing a tire. The witness pointed to the area on the map where he saw the vehicle parked off the side of the road. Captain Magone and I arrived in the above area at approximately 1628 hours. I noticed locked gates on the east and west side of the road. Knowing the area and the property owner, I called the property owner, and it gives us their name. Hardy advised he was 2 minutes away. Hardy arrived at 1630 hours. Hardy advised we have full permission to enter his property, and he unlocked both the east and west gates. Hardy explained how to lock the gates back. Once we were done, Hardy left, returning to work. Later, after providing consent, Hardy signed a consent to search his property and completed a sworn written statement. Captain Magone and I entered the property on the west side of Hickory Tree Road. We walked to the north for a few minutes near round hay bales covered in plastic. Then we went to the left south side of the gate where there is a long line of tall bamboo trees. Captain Magone noticed just a few feet into the bamboo tree line what appeared to be blue jeans. As we got closer, we noticed what appeared to be a body. The top half of the body was covered by a green-colored hooded sweatshirt, and the bottom half was covered with blue jeans. The body was laying on the left side in somewhat of a fetal position. It appeared that the body was covered by pieces of hay or dry grass. Based on my training and experience, it was apparent that this was a human body. I did not see any signs of life. I could clearly see flies covering the body. Captain Magone and I walked out of the gate and used crime scene tape to secure the scene. Deputy Chris Johnson responded to assist, and a crime scene log was started. Kissimmee Police Department responded to the scene along with forensics, and the investigation was turned over to them. Please see Donna Cetus supplement for the witness information. So here are some photos of the actual crime scene. They're going to go fast because I didn't really have any audio to put behind it. But if you guys want to slow it down and check these out, you can. They're also in a video titled Personal Photos from Phones, I do believe. It is on my channel. It's going to be towards the end of the Madeline Soto playlist. And then we'll go back to this one. This one is by Deputy Johnson. And it states, on March 1st, 2024 at 1716 hours, I responded to, and it gives the address, in reference to a missing person. Upon arrival, I provided scene security due to an ongoing investigation. I completed a crime scene log for all persons entering the scene. Contact was then made with the landowner and witness, who provided a sworn written statement and completed a consent to search affidavit. Both documents were submitted for processing. This includes my involvement in the above incident. Now we're going to go back up because this paperwork is where Mr. Hardy had given them consent to search his property. So this is from Sheriff Lopez, and it tells us the incident number. It's a supplemental report, and it gives us the signature. Here we have the sworn written statement, and it states, it gives us the name of the landowner, and he states, made contact with deputies who were conducting an investigation and gave them permission to go on my property to do their job. This is going to be the crime scene contamination sheet, or a list of everybody that has entered the property on that day. It gives the name and the date and their signature. So these are all the people coming in and out of the crime scene. That's the crime scene log, basically, that we just referenced. And this is the report for the incident. It tells us all the responding officers. It gives us all their names: Swan, Sweeney, Cox, Johnson, Odell, Knock, Aurora, and Schultz. Also, Humanan, Ruiz, Cita, Nigel, Fontes, Soto, Edwards, Donalds, Meyer, Castro, and Orto. And it tells us, like, you know, what they did. One of them gave a phone message related to incident, One of them was the property owner. The rest were Osceola County administrations and miscellaneous services. Okay, and then it goes back to the narratives. but I already read those to you so you could kind of understand what that first little section of paperwork was a little bit easier. Now we're going to continue on. It tells us that these are basically the names of the people who came on and off the scene. This is a call detail report. It's stating, who called, on-site call, assisting unit, call. It tells us arrived on scene, assisting unit, arrived on scene, completed call, and the names of those people who did that, just officers. Because, with the investigation, they have to keep track of all this stuff. Telling us they're en route to a call, arrived on scene, assisting unit, arrived on scene, assisting unit. You guys can review that if you want to on your free time. I don't feel that it's important to read through every one when they're just talking about that they arrived on scene. This one says NMIN East Osceola County Sheriff's Office, and it says name, and it says Sterns S, which is going to be Stephan Sterns. So I don't know if he called or something during this time. I found that interesting. And then there's another one. Jen Soto completed a call, or called and someone completed the call, which I found interesting. I'm assuming this could be like while they were doing the investigation, all the calls coming in and out. So this is going to be an informational report, and it's going to give us, this one has a lot of comments. So I'm going to read these comments to you in the way that they're written. Okay, it states that on March 1st, 2024, Furby B requested incident NBR 17:46 and 43 seconds. On March 1st, 2024, Weatherspoon Y from Knock. Jack, a lot of media is heading towards Hickory Tree. That was at 17:47 and 34 seconds. So it's telling us, their phone calls and what they said, basically. March 1st, 2024, Weatherspoon contacted Lieutenant Chambers, and it states aware reference media. So basically telling them that the media is coming. At 18:26:43 on March 1st, Dorking C, and it says via PX added caller Dory advised her husband Michael Ball PX, and it gets that was at the Circle K on Ferris Cove and Canoe Road on Sunday or Monday, and advised that the suspect related to the missing girl opened the door to the Circle K for her and her husband Michael Ball. Caller advised the back left hubcap was missing off the vehicle. Caller didn't know if DS could check the video footage to see where the suspect went after leaving the Circle K. At 19:05 and 24 on March 1st, 2024, Dorking C. Caller advised he believes he saw a male with a flat rear driver's side tire on his silver sedan Monday morning between 9 and 10 hours. Caller advised he and his wife was headed back home around 14:15 to 15:15 hours, and advised male was still at location, and a young male with natural red hair was parked behind him and helping suspect change the tire. Caller advised he is positive that suspect was arrested. And then at 19:05:49 on March 1st, Dorking see previous to CC entered by Cynthia Millard. And then at 19:09, March 1st, 2024, Scott Jason from Oraro, a required sergeant, responded in reference to an unruly subject. At 19:50 on March 1st, Edward L. made contact with Michael Ball, took down information, and it will be forwarded to Kissimmee Police Department. At 20:05 on March 1st, Edwards L. made contact with the Stephan Sterns, friend, I do believe, regarding his above tip, took down information, and it will be forwarded to Kissimmee Police Department. That was the Warhammer friend, I do believe. At 2010-20, someone called and said she used to be a student in Osceola County. Complainant advised that when students would not show up to school, the school would call parents or guardian. Complainant advised DS can pull the recording to know if parents were aware. And then at 2015, on March 1st, 2024, someone received additional from someone named Fred, manager of sensor engineer. Complainant advised he has video footage that faces entrance of the building but can see old hickory tree in the background. Complainant advised if DS needs footage, complainant not at location, complainant advised he can access footage remotely. Complainant lives at, and it gives that address. So these are just, talking about phone calls and tips that they received. And then this is just the detail report and who answered the phone, the times and dates of who answered the phone, and it tells us their name, because there's abbreviation, so it's telling you their name. This one says Osceola County Sheriff's Office Administration complaint on 3/1/24, and then miscellaneous services, somebody initiating a call on March 1st, and that was printed on March 8th. This is a signature affidavit for a supplemental report, and it says, I swear or affirm the attached statement is true and correct, from Sergeant Swain. And this is a property form, and it tells us that the charges or nature is an unaliving investigation. The date these items were recovered was March 1st, 2024. It gives us the address, and it tells us that there was a tire fragment from marker 1 collected, a tire fragment from marker 2 collected, and scene photographs were collected. It has redacted the nature of the crime, but we already know that it has to do with sexual offenses. And it states, the reporting deputy's name and ID was Jennifer Soto. Isn't that interesting? Because it gives the badge number, and Jennifer Soto signed it. But it says reporting deputy's name and ID, so it's not having her sign the paperwork. Jen Soto, Maddie's mom, that is the officer. And then it tells us that they collected USB drive and FARO scans from that USB drive. And it's basically just a chain of custody form. This one is saying that major case prints were collected from, and it tells us more than likely that says Madeline, from where they collected her fingerprints when she was found. This is a signature affidavit for a supplemental report, kind of intelligence information. This states that the Orange County Sheriff's Office, it gives us the report number, tells us the officer, it was Officer Tangler with the squad SMEX crimes. Let me do it this way. And then that's redacted. This is going to be an incident report, supplemental narrative. It has redactions, so I'll read this to you. Okay, it states, background. On February 26, 2024, at approximately 1850 hours, the Orange County Sheriff's Office received a call for service in reference to a missing juvenile. At approximately 1948 hours, Deputy Frank Joseph, and it gives us the ID number, responded to, and it gives the address, in reference to a missing 13-year-old juvenile later identified as Madeline Soto. Deputy Joseph made contact with Maddie's mother, Jennifer, who advised the following in a verbal, sworn, written statement. And Jen said on February 26th at approximately 8 o'clock, I'm assuming for these redacted parts by using contextual clues. So I'm assuming it says Jen observed Maddie getting dressed for school at approximately 8:30 hours. Jen's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, took Maddie to school and dropped her off near this intersection of Town Loop Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane. At approximately 1600 hours, Jen went to, and it gives the address, in an attempt to pick up Maddie. However, Maddie never came out of the school. Jen searched the area for Madeline. After not finding her, she went to, and it gives the address. Deputy Joseph made contact with Stephan Sterns, who advised the following in a verbal sworn written statement. And Stephan said, on February 26th, at approximately 8:25 to 8:40, Stephan dropped Maddie off approximately 1 block away from the school. Stephan watched Maddie leave his vehicle and walk in the direction of her school. As Stephan was driving away, he saw what appeared to be Maddie searching through her book bag. Stephan did not think anything of it due to Maddie usually looking through her book bag to find headphones so she could put them on before going to school. Stephan then drove to a vape shop. However, it was closed, and he drove to his residence. Stephan was home for approximately an hour before he traveled back to the vape shop. After buying vape juice, Stephan returned home to hang out with Jennifer. Stephan then went out to run errands and returned home at approximately 14:30. Deputy Joseph then responded to, and it gives the address, with an Orange County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit to collect clothing articles belonging to Maddie, and headed back to the intersection of Town Loop Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane, which was the last known location Maddie was seen, and began to track. The track yielded negative results. Maddie was described as 5 feet 1 inches, approximately 110 pounds, with blue eyes, fair skin, and blonde hair. According to Stephan and Jen, Maddie was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, and white Crocs. Maddie was entered into EMRE source and later entered to teletype as a missing endangered juvenile by Officer Glessner. Maddie's BOLO number is, and it gives the BOLO number. Deputy Joseph contacted the on-call domestic crimes detective. It should be noted, personnel assigned to the domestic crime squad conducting missing persons investigation, Detective Francis Hunt, was notified and coordinated the initial response, subsequently advising Deputy Joseph to route the report to Missing Persons Squad. On February 27, 2024, Detective F. Hunt was notified Maddie didn't report to school. At this time, Detective Hunt made contact with Jen and Stephan. Please see his supplemental report for further details. And then it goes on to tell us the investigative detail. So the investigative detail states that on February 27, 2024, at approximately 1600 hours, I, Detective M. Tangler, was notified of the missing person investigation, and I responded to assist with canvassing. I responded to the initial command post located at 5100 Town Center Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. Upon my arrival, I was tasked to speak with Stephan Sterns with Detective Acosta. Before speaking with Sterns, I was advised the vehicle he was driving, a 2010 Silver Lincoln MKZ bearing Florida tag IYLL82, had been seen in the following locations. On February 26, 2024, southbound on S. John Young Parkway and Osceola County line at 8:10. Let me pull up this other report. Okay, so since that document was going to talk about where he was driving, I'm actually going to pull up this other document that I got from Grizzly's Patreon, which I'll link below, and it's going to show us the pictures of where he was driving. So we can get a picture of where he was at and actually see the pictures. The redacted ones are where it showed Madeline, so we're not going to be able to see those, but I think that we don't need to see that anyway. So it starts on February 26th at 7:30. Stephan is seen on the complex camera with the victim slumped over in the passenger seat. And it tells us that the photo was gathered from VCS. At 7:35, Stephan is seen on complex camera throwing something in the complex dumpster, and that was this picture. At 7:50, Stephan left the complex with the victim and U-turned on Churchtown Loop in Hunter Park. At 8:10, per the LPR, he's seen southbound on John Young Parkway and southbound on Osceola County Line Road, and it tells us his vehicle, and that's this picture. On camera, passenger seat is leaning back. At 8:11, he's caught on a red light camera at John Young Parkway and Thacker, and he's westbound, and that's this picture. At 8:19, he re-enters the complex with someone in a green top slumped over. At 8:31, he leaves the complex through the back with someone in the front seat. And the photo was gathered by BCS, and that was this picture right here. At 8:30 to 8:40, Stephan drops off at Town Loop and Lilac Cove. At 8:30 to 8:40, Stephan U-turns on Town Loop and Hunterwick to the smoke shop. At 8:39, he's on camera eastbound on Osceola Parkway and Thacker, and that's this picture right here. At 8:41, he's on camera northbound on John Young Parkway and Thacker, right here. At 8:48, on the red light camera, he's northbound on John Young Parkway and Town Center, right here. At 8:58, he's on a red light camera westbound on Central Florida Parkway and John Young Thacker, right here. At 9:01, he's on a red light camera northbound on International Drive and Center Florida Parkway, right here. At 9:02, he's on a traffic camera northbound at International Drive and Aquatica rear entrance, right here. At 9:02, he's on a traffic camera northbound on International Drive and Sea Harbor Drive, right here. At 9:03 and 37 seconds, he's on a traffic camera southbound on International Drive and Sea Harbor Drive, right here. At 9:04 and 43 seconds, he's on a traffic camera southbound on International Drive and Aquatica at the rear entrance, right here. That's going to be redacted because evidently you could see Madeline. At 9:05, he's on a red light camera eastbound on Central Florida Parkway and International Drive. I'm sorry, my rabbit's acting crazy. And here's a picture of that. At 9:16, he's on camera at a business and eastbound on Orangewood and Gateway, right here. Okay, here in this picture, that's redacted, the last one, he's at 9:25 on a red light camera northbound at John Young Parkway and Central Florida Parkway. At 9:35, Stephan is seen pulling into, and it gives the address. That's this picture right here. At 9:41, he's on camera in a parking garage putting Madeline's body into the trunk, and that was this picture right here. At 9:44, he's on camera leaving the parking garage. That's this picture right here. At 9:49 and 2 seconds, he's southbound on John Young Parkway and Central Florida Parkway. That's this picture right here. At 9:50, he's caught on a red light camera southbound on John Young Parkway and Whisper Lakes Boulevard, right here. At 10:03 and 47 seconds, he's on a red light camera, and he's southbound at John Young Parkway and Town Center, right here. At 10:05, the LPR caught him southbound on John Young Parkway and Osceola County Line, right here. At 10:06, per the DOT, he's westbound on John Young Parkway and Thacker. At 10:17, Stephan makes outgoing call to what I assume to be Jennifer for 8 minutes. At 10:54, Stephan is shown on the complex video at the dumpster. At 11:02, Stephan makes an outgoing call to what I assume to be Jennifer for 48 seconds, and the device is at home. At 11:03, phone begins to move from the apartment. At 11:22, he makes a purchase at the smoke shop. Stephan is in a different shirt than seen in earlier, and the photo was gathered by the Smex Crime Unit. That was this right here. I apologize about the noise in the background. My rabbit Basil is chewing. At 11:48, per the LPR, he is at John Young Parkway and Osceola County Line, and he is southbound right here. So Stephan says he goes home to hang out, but we can see, okay, so at 12:12, the phone is reset. So now he has come home, he's hung out at the house, he's went to the vape shop, and Maddie is we're assuming she's in the trunk. So now he's going back out. Okay. So at 12:49, he's eastbound on 192 and Dyer Boulevard, and that's this picture. At 12:51, he's on camera eastbound at 192 and Emory, and that's this picture. At 12:54, he's on camera eastbound on 192 and John Young Parkway, and that's this picture. At 12:59, he's on camera eastbound at 192 and Fortune, and that's this picture right here. Sir, you are so loud. At 1 o'clock, he's eastbound on 192 and Bill Beck, and that's this picture right here. At 1:05, per the LPR, he's at 192 and Pekin eastbound right here. At 1:08, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 and Sergeant Graham right here. At 1:08 and 39 seconds, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 and Old Canoe Creek Road. That's this picture right here. At 1:09, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 and Neptune Boulevard right here. At 1:10 and 56 seconds, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 and Bollinger, and that's this picture right here. Sweetie, honey, baby cakes. At 1:13 and 13 seconds, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 in Vermont. At 1:14 and 2 seconds, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 in New York. At 1:14, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 in Michigan. That's this picture right here. At 1:15 and 21 seconds, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 in Delaware. That's this picture right here. At 1:15 and 39 seconds, per the DOT, he's eastbound on 192 in Mississippi, and that's this picture right here. At 1:16 and 58 seconds, the DOT got him south on Old Hickory Tree Road from Creative Inspirations Northgate camera. And then, so that's where he went out of town, okay? And now we've got about an hour later. We're at 2:11 p.m. They pick him up coming back into town. So everything we just saw was him driving out of town, and now he's coming back in town and going back towards the house, okay? So at 2:11 and 31 seconds, the DOT picks him up on Old Hickory Tree westbound on 192 right here. At 2:12 and 20 seconds, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Mississippi right here. At 2:12 and 34 seconds, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Delaware right here. At 2:12 and 44 seconds, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Michigan. That's this picture right here. At 2:13 and 56 seconds, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in New York right here. At 2:16, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Bollinger right here. At 2:18, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Neptune right here. At 2:18, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Old Canoe Creek Road right here. At 2:19, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Sergeant Graham right here. At 2:23, the LPR got him westbound on 192 in Academy right here. At 2:26, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Simpson right here. At 14:28, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Bill Beck right here. At 2:29, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Fortune right here. At 2:30, Jen leaves the home to pick Madeline up from school. At 2:38, the DOT got Stephan westbound on 192 in John Young Parkway right here. At 2:39, the DOT got him westbound at 192 in Emory right here. At 2:43, the DOT got him westbound on 192 in Dyer right here. At, what is this? 3:21, Stephan is seen throwing something into the complex dumpster. And then at 4:10, Jen goes to Grandma's workplace and drives around Grandma's work and the school looking for Madeline. At 4:30, Jen realizes the victim is missing and calls the victim's friend to see if the victim went to school, and returns to Grandma's and goes through the victim's phone. At 4:36, on video, Stephan is seen putting tire into the apartment complex dumpster. At 4:43, Jen or her sister calls 911 to report. If you would like to hear the 911 calls, it's in a video with this thumbnail titled The 911 Calls. And then that's going to be at 5:15, they call 911 for update. Again, at 6 p.m., they go back to the apartment and family helps search the area for the victim. At 7:21, Jen or her sister calls 911 for an update. At 7:37, deputies arrive on scene. At 8, domestic screens the call for the signal 8, and domestic does not respond. At 8:47, LRP picks Stephan up southbound on John Young Parkway and Osceola County line. I do believe that's the video that we saw where he's showing them where he dropped her off. If you would like to see that video, it has this thumbnail and it's titled Stephan Sterns Shows the Police Where He Dropped Maddie Off. At 8:47 and 16 seconds, he's southbound on John Young Parkway and Osceola County line. And then at 8:50, victim is entered into teletype. And then at 9:44 to 10:02, phone is shut off. This is going into the early hours of February 27th. So I do believe at midnight exactly, phone is reset. And then at 3:18 a.m., the DOT picks him up in Jen's car, westbound on 192 in Hogland. At 3:18, he gets picked up by the DOT, westbound on 192 in Dyer, in Jen's car. At 3:20 a.m., the DOT picks him up westbound on 192 in Emory, in Jen's car. At 3:20, the DOT picks him up westbound on 192 in John Young Parkway, in Jen's car. It looks like Jen's car, but it's saying his car. I could be wrong. I think that's Jen's car. It might be his car. Okay. At 3:24, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Bill Beck. At 3:25, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Simpson. At 3:27, the LPR picked him up at eastbound on 192 in Pecan. So yeah, it's Jen's car. They fixed it there because they redacted that it's Jen's car and the tag number. At 3:29 a.m., the LPR picked him up eastbound on 192 in St. Cloud Commons or Simmons Road. At 3:30 a.m., the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in Old Canoe Creek. At 3:31, the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in Neptune. That's that. So I think this is when he was supposed to be out looking or something, or he left the house that night. At 3:31, the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in Bullinger. At 3:32, the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in Vermont. At 3:33 a.m., the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in New York, right here. At 3:33 and 57 seconds, the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in Michigan. At 3:34, the DOT picked him up eastbound on 192 in Delaware, right here. At 3:35 and 16 seconds, the DOT picked him up southbound on Old Hickory Tree from Creative Inspirations Northgate camera, right here. Or there's no picture, I apologize. At 4:09. So he's gone out of town for 35 minutes. Or about 30 minutes. And then at 4:09 a.m., he's coming back towards the house now. The DOT picked him up on Old Hickory Tree Road westbound on 192 in Jen's car. At 4:10, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Mississippi. At 4:11 a.m., the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Delaware, right here. At 4:11, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Michigan, right here. At 4:11, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in New York, right here. At 4:13 and 28 seconds, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Bullinger. At 4:14, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Neptune. At 4:14, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Old Canoe. At 4:15, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Sergeant Graham. At 4:17, per the LRP, they picked him up westbound on 192 in Academy right here. Definitely Jen's car. At 4:19 a.m., the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Simpson. At 4:20, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Bill Beck. At 4:25, they got him on a red light camera westbound on 192 in John Young Parkway. At 4:26, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Emory. At 4:28, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Dyer. At 4:28, the DOT picked him up westbound on 192 in Hogland right here. And then that's it until 10:38. I'm assuming that night or the next morning, because now it jumps to 10:38. But if it was in the morning, it'd be military time. So I guess, but it doesn't give me a date. I don't know why it jumps from 4:28 to 10:38 right here, but either way, 10:38 and 27, the toll is hit at Osceola County Parkway and Shingle Creek Toll Plaza. At 10:58 and 36, he hit a toll at Osceola Parkway and Shingle Creek Toll Plaza. At 11:01, toll hit at Osceola County Parkway and Shingle Creek Toll Plaza right here. So I had these images for a while now from Orange County Sheriff's Office when I submitted the request for information. I didn't really know what they were, but the title of this document is Strange Tolls. So I'm assuming this is what it's in reference to. Most of it's redacted, but in case you want to look at it, here it is. At 11:16, Detective Hunt interviewed Jen and Stephan. At 11:16, interviewed students at the school. So this is during the day in the morning. The next day, I'm assuming. Those interviews are on my page as well, and they look like this. At 3:20, the command post is initiated. At 3:30, the daytime chase flyover was done. At 7:50, code red was requested by Captain Avelia. At 8 o'clock, Stephan's phone was seized. The video where they seized the phone has a thumbnail that looks like this. Yeah. At 8:12, the initial PRTT for victim social media has negative return. At 8:38, the code red was sent. At 8:38, Osceola K9 did a track, which was negative. And then we're on February 28th. At 1, the vehicle was towed to the place where they search it. So on February 28th, at 4:35 in the morning, Stephan is on camera and he leaves the hotel through the front lobby. At 6:29 a.m., the LPR picked him up at North Cranberry Boulevard and Toledo Blade going westbound right here. During this part of the video, I didn't realize, but I was muted. So we're going to pick back up where we left off, and I'm going to continue reading to you this way. So from 6:34 to 7:09, Stephan logged into Google at his dad's address per the FBI cast. And then at 7:28, his dad is seen leaving the hotel through the front lobby, and that photo was gathered by the SMEX crime unit, and that's the one at the very bottom of this page. That's redacted. So the picture you see at the very top of Jen's car that looks like it's in a parking lot says at 7:46, the LPR picked him up northbound on Cranberry Boulevard and Toledo Blade, and it says it's 1 mile from Stephan Sterns' address, photo taken by Learn. And then the next one says 7:47, Northport has a video of Jen's vehicle at the scene of a vehicle accident, and that was at Cranberry and Toledo Blade. Then at 8 o'clock, the search warrant is served on the apartment. At 10:21, LPR picked him up westbound on 192 and Rolling Oak Boulevard. Photo taken by Learn. That's the second picture you see there. The third picture says at 10:24, LPR picked him up eastbound on 192 and Rolling Oaks Boulevard. At 10:50, Christopher Sterns is caught on camera walking back into the hotel in Kissimmee. And then the last redacted photo you see there says at 10:55, Stephan walks back into the hotel lobby, and that was gathered by the SMEX Crimes Unit. Under that, the words that you see right here state at 11:45 they executed the search warrant on the Lincoln. At 12:44 at Old Hickory Tree Road in Dory, the tire tread was found by Detective Sabal. At 15:30, which is 3:30, Stephan and Jen were brought into Central OPS and the Nissan was taken into custody. At 17:05 or 5:05, Detective Beldares located the victim's backpack with laptop, notes, crocked inside the dumpster located at the apartment complex. A piece of tire was also recovered at this time. And then we see March 1st at 12:45, Detective O'Malley from the Orange County Sheriff's Office and Detective Smallwood from Kissimmee Police Department interviewed, and it's redacted, but we can assume it says Jennifer Soto. And then at 16:47 or 4:47, Madeline's body was found at Hickory Tree and Brick Canal. These next two pages are two of the sign-in sheets for the people who entered and exited the crime scene, and the date, their names, their signature, the time, all of that kind of stuff. Now we're going to jump back to the 800 and some odd page document. All right, so we just went through all the places he was seen, and that's what that's telling us. So right here, see southbound on South Chun Young Parkway at 10:05, all of that. Okay, and now this is going to go over the interview with Stephan Sterns. And it states, on February 27th, 2024, Detective Acosta and I conducted a digitally recorded sworn interview with Stephan Sterns at, and below is a synopsis of his statement. Stephan currently resides in Northport, Florida, but comes to Kissimmee, Florida occasionally to spend time with what we can assume to be Jen and Maddie. On February 25th, 2024, at approximately 20:45 hours, Stephan arrived at Maddie and Jen's residence located at. When he arrived, Jen was still at work, and he directed Maddie to get ready for bed. Once Jen arrived, she informed Stephan and Maddie she would like to sleep in and directed them to sleep upstairs in the guest room. The following morning, Stephan and Maddie woke up at approximately 7 to 7:15 hours to get an, quote, early start, so they could purchase food from McDonald's before school. Maddie and he left the residence between 7:30 and 7:45 and headed towards the McDonald's located at 1401 Town Loop Boulevard in Orlando, Florida. On the way to McDonald's, Maddie slept the entire time, and once in the area, Stephan asked her if she still wanted McDonald's, to which she stated she did not. Stephan drove past McDonald's and headed towards the school. Stephan dropped Maddie off at the right side of the road near the community, south of State Road 417 overpass between 8:20 and 8:40 hours. According to Stephan, Maddie was going through a, quote, phase, which led her to be embarrassed of his vehicle and did not like to be dropped off at the school in it. Maddie then informed Stephan she was going to hang out with friends, and Stephan did not question it since it was not unusual for kids to hang out before school. Stephan let Maddie out of the vehicle and told her to, quote, have a good day, love you. To which she replied, quote, thanks, love you too. Stephan turned around and watched in the rearview mirror as Maddie rummaged through her backpack as she walked in the direction of the school. Stephan assumed Maddie was looking for headphones, but later realized she had forgotten her phone. Stephan continued to observe Maddie walk towards the direction of the school. At this point, Detective Acosta showed Stephan a map of the area where he alleged he dropped Maddie off for school. According to Stephan, he dropped her off on the sidewalk at the intersection of Lilac Cove and Town Loop Boulevard. Stephan stated this was maybe the fifth or sixth time he had dropped her off, and it was common for her to ask to be dropped off near the school. According to Stephan, Maddie enjoyed the cold weather, and at the time he dropped her off, she was wearing her hoodie. I asked Stephan if he pulled into the McDonald's plaza, to which he advised he did not because she said she did not want McDonald's. I then asked if at any point he made a U-turn, and Stephan stated he made a U-turn at the church parking lot to try and, quote, sell her on McDonald's one more time because he was still hungry. Maddie informed Stephan that she just wanted to go to school, therefore they turned back around. According to Stephan, he made a U-turn in the church parking lot located at, and it gives the address. Detective Acosta showed Stephan a map that showed the school and the McDonald's and asked Stephan to show him on the map the direction of his travel. Stephan stated he was bad at reading maps, but did not believe they came across Town Loop Boulevard. Stephan then stated when he drives to school, he usually takes John Young Parkway and makes a left turn when he sees the McDonald's onto the same road the school is on. According to Stephan, he uses landmarks to get to the school since he does not know street names. Stephan again stated Maddie said no to McDonald's and they had, quote, time to kill. Therefore, they made a U-turn, quote, probably by the church, and asked her if she wanted McDonald's again. When he dropped her off, Stephan asked her if it was okay for her to stay this early, and Madeline reassured him that it was and that she wanted to wait for her friends to get there. Stephan told her to have a, quote, good day and I loved her. She said, quote, she loved me too, and turned around to leave and could see Maddie in his rearview mirror walking towards the direction of the school as she rummaged through her backpack. After leaving the area of Madeline's school, Stephan went to the local vape shop because he needed more vape juice. The vape shop was not open yet, therefore he went back to his residence at approximately 10 o'clock. Stephan hung out with Jen for a little while, and approximately an hour later he went back to the vape shop. At this time, the vape shop was open and he was able to purchase the item he needed. Around 11 o'clock, Stephan went back to his residence and hung out with Jen again. I asked Stephan if Jen was home the first time he returned, to which he stated, quote, yes, I think so. And then he stated he was not sure because she had a blood appointment at some point during the day and apologized, stating, quote, sorry, everything is a blur. Stephan then stated he believed she was home because she was trying to sleep in as much as she could because she was, quote, messed up with her work schedule. And it continues. I asked Stephan if he recalled what time he went to the vape shop, and he advised between 11 o'clock, stating it was only a 10-minute drive. Stephan stated the shop was called, quote, E-Smoker Online Vape Shop, which is located at, and it gives the address. After making the purchase, Stephan returned home, where he remained until approximately 12:45. At that time, Stephan left the residence, heading towards the area of US 192 to run several errands. Jen had mentioned to Stephan she wanted to make a BJ's wholesale club list and wanted Stephan to be back in time to go with her to pick up Maddie. While on 192, Stephan visited some card shops because he is a quote nerd, and there was a new card that had been released. Stephan stated he visited, quote, Coliseum of Comics, stopped at a couple of Targets, and was going to go to, quote, House Rules games on Oak Street. Stephan advised he did not make it that far because he got a flat tire. I asked Stephan where he got his flat tire, and he informed me it was on US 192, and he had pulled into one of the plazas. Stephan then stated it had been about 10 years since he changed the tire, and he made a rookie mistake in the process and ended up pinning his thumb between the jack and the frame. I asked Stephan which plaza he pulled into, and he stated he was not sure, but he believed it was before Oak Street. Stephan then stated he did not make it back in time because he got a flat tire, and Jen left to pick up Maddie without him. Stephan called Jen to tell her what happened and apologized profusely for not being back in time to go with her to pick up Madeline. Once back at the residence, Stephan hung out and, quote, straightened the apartment as he waited for Madeline and Jennifer. Jennifer then contacted Stephan to let him know Madeline had not come out. At this time, Stephan had been getting worried and started making phone calls to Jen's family, asking them to be on the lookout since she may be walking to them. According to Stephan, this is when, quote, everything started going downhill. I then asked Stephan if it was normal for Madeline to not have her phone, to which he replied Madeline was, quote, severely ADHD, as is her mother and he. Stephan advised due to this, it was not unusual for her to forget her phone. I asked Stephan if she was on medication for ADHD, and he stated she normally took her medication but had not done so the week prior due to being at her grandparents' residence for most of the week, resulting in Madeline being, quote, very spacey. Stephan then stated Jen's hours had changed at work, which is why he had driven up here to help. As Detective Acosta was reviewing the map, Stephan asked if he had messed up on his streets again, and reiterated that he was bad about streets in the Hunters Creek area. I informed Stephan he mentioned he made a U-turn at the church to see if she wanted McDonald's again, to which he agreed. I asked Stephan if he had gone anywhere else since they had, quote, time to kill, to which he stated no. I asked Stephan if there was any reason why he would be back on John Young Parkway, and he stated they tried going to McDonald's the second time. He would have made a left instead of looped around. I asked Stephan if he had gone anywhere else since they had, quote, time to kill, to which he stated no. I asked Stephan if there was any reason why he would be back on John Young Parkway, and he stated when they tried going to McDonald's the second time, he would have made a left instead and looped around. I asked Stephan to show me on the map what he was referring to. Stephan stated he was originally going north on John Young Parkway, turned left at the McDonald's on Town Loop Boulevard towards the school, and made the U-turn at the median located at Lilac Cove and Town Loop Boulevard. Stephan then went back to McDonald's with, quote, still time to kill, and she again stated she did not want McDonald's, so he gave her a cheese Danish pastry he had from home. Stephan headed north on John Young Parkway, turned eastbound on Town Loop Center Boulevard, and made a right towards the school. I asked Stephan if he recalled what time he dropped her off, and he advised he estimated it was around 8:20 to 8:40. I asked Stephan if he had the Google Maps application on his phone, and he advised he did, but was not mapping it at the time. At this time, I asked Stephan if he would mind if I looked at his map, which he stated he did not. He unlocked his phone and handed it to me. As I reviewed Stephan's Google Maps, Detective Acosta confirmed once again that the route he took that morning. Detective Acosta informed Stephan he stated he had gone up John Young Parkway through Town Center Boulevard and made a right on Town Loop Boulevard before he dropped her off before the underpass south of the church. Stephan again stated Maddie enjoyed the morning walks and when the weather was cold, and how she did not like to get dropped off in his car because it was a, quote, image thing. Stephan informed Detective Acosta the bell usually rings around 9:15, and he had dropped her off that morning earlier than typical since they had, quote, made really good time. Stephan again confirmed watching Madeline walk towards the direction of the school. I asked Stephan if he would mind if I checked if he was logged onto his Google account, and he replied he was not logged on, but that it was okay for me to check. While I looked through Stephan's Google history, Detective Acosta continued to speak with Stephan. Stephan advised Detective Acosta the morning he dropped Madeline off to school, she had her school laptop, which should still be with her. Stephan described Madeline's backpack as black with grayish hibiscus flowers on it. Detective Acosta asked Stephen if Madeline had ever run away for any amount of time, to which he stated Madeline was very dependent on them and would probably not know what to do if she were to run away. Stephan also stated Madeline was not the type to run away and that she was a good kid. Stephan informed Detective Acosta that Madeline had been tested a while ago and showed signs of being on the spectrum of autism and had been diagnosed with autism, but was later advised she was not autistic. I confirmed with Stephan he used Google Maps for direction, to which he stated, yes, go places, search addresses, look at store hours, write reviews. It's a pretty new phone, though. As I looked through Stephan's Google Maps account, I noticed he did not have recorded travel on the account consistent with the driving he informed us he had done on February 26, 2024 and February 27, 2024. I asked Stephan when he returned to the area to assist Maddie, and he stated it was on February 25th, 2024 at approximately 20:30 hours. Quote, just in time to make sure she was doing all her nightly routines as they waited for Jennifer to get home. I asked Stephan where he and Jennifer looked for Maddie, and he stated they stayed local. I asked Stephan if they drove anywhere, to which he stated he believed they had not, and Jen's family was driving around. Stephan stated he did not recall driving anywhere the night of February 26, 2024, and that he was, quote, socked out on Ativan at that point because he was a wreck, and that he was on so many tranquilizers. Stephan stated he had not needed to take Ativan in a while, but that he had been having these panic attacks and had been crying and took it to get sleep that night. Detective Acosta informed Stephan, "We were trying to establish a timeline of events," at which point Stephan interrupted and stated he was trying his best, but he was not a morning person and was trying to give his best guess. Detective Acosta then stated, "We know he drove north on John Young Parkway, he made a left at the McDonald's," which Stephan agreed, and that he mentioned he had dropped her off around 8:20 to 8:40 hours. Detective Acosta asked Stephan what time he believed he made the first left at the McDonald's, which he stated it was either around 8 o'clock or a quarter after 8. Detective Acosta pointed out to Stephan the direction he continued to mention he had traveled was northbound on John Young Parkway. Detective Acosta then asked Stephan why his vehicle was seen traveling southbound in the direction of Kissimmee. Stephan stated he was sorry and that he had forgotten his, quote, gate clicker and had driven back to the residence. Stephan advised he went through the front gate and had to use his parking pass to grab his clicker, and that he provided the wrong times because he was not a morning person. Stephan stated he had almost arrived at the school and they, quote, had plenty of time to kill, which is why he rushed back to get the gate clicker. I asked Stephan if, when I looked at the surveillance for the complex, if it was going to show him entering the front gate with Madeline in the front seat, and he stated yes. Detective Acosta asked Stephan if he could not have just waited until after he dropped Madeline off to get his gate clicker, which he stated he could have, but he liked coming into the complex through the back gate because sometimes they were busy at the front gate and it was better not to wait in a long line. At this point, I noticed Stephan's phone only contained minimal data on his call history and appeared as if some of the messaging applications had never been used. I stepped away for a second as Detective Acosta continued to speak with Stephan. While I walked away, Stephan informed Detective Acosta he made a joke to, Madeline, on the morning of February 26th about her Crocs since she wore Crocs and socks. Stephan described Maddie as a very good girl who brought a lot of joy, and it did not feel the same without her around. Stephan stated Maddie had been so happy she had been looking forward to him visiting and all of them being together. Stephan stated Maddie called her, quote, bonus dad, advising they had a very strong bond and she knew nothing but love in the household. Stephan stated Maddie was doing well in school and she was also singing. He then stated Maddie had sang for him and it reminded him of the movie Sister Act, and he told her he was very proud of her. I returned to speak to Stephan and asked him if he would unlock his phone again, which he did. I asked Stephan if he had stated did not have his phone the morning he dropped Madeline off. He replied he had forgotten it because he was too busy trying to get Madeline out of the door. I asked him if he had his phone when he went to the smoke shop, which he stated he did not the first time, but he did the second time. I informed Stephan when I was looking into his call history, I had noticed he only had a call log for February 27th, and asked him if that was unusual on his phone. Stephan stated, quote, no, it's a new phone, and stupid. I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what the what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive iOS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all my contacts and information. I asked Stephan if he recalled what time that occurred, which he stated sometime while he was hanging out with Jen. I informed Stephan I was going to maintain possession of the phone at this time and asked him to please refrain from going back inside his vehicle. Stephan swore everything he told us was true. Detective Hunt stayed with Jen and Stephan. At approximately 20:38 hours, Osceola K-9 responded to the address and conducted a track that yielded negative results. At this time, Detective Costa and I responded to the front entrance of the complex and made contact with security in reference to video surveillance. Detective Costa and I reviewed the surveillance showing both the front and rear entrance of the complex, which exited onto Dyer Boulevard. In the surveillance footage, I observed a male wearing a red t-shirt leaving the complex in a 2010 silver Lincoln MKZ through the rear gate at 7:50 hours, with a female wearing a green sweatshirt in the front seat. The person appeared to be sitting upright with her head slumped over to her left side. At 8:19, I observed a male wearing a red shirt enter the complex through the front gate near North Hogland Boulevard in the silver Lincoln, with someone in the front passenger seat wearing a green sweater once again slumped over. At 8:31, the male wearing a red shirt left the complex in the silver Lincoln MKZ through the rear gate, with a female in the front passenger seat completely slumped over to the left. Okay, so we just came to the end of this page, and now we're on to what's marked as 32 in my document. And it continues incident report. It states Detective Corporal Ayos with Orange County Violent Crimes Unit responded to the scene and continued reviewing the surveillance footage. At this time, I, Detective Tangler, was assigned as the lead investigator to this case. Detective Acosta and I returned to the residence, and I asked Detective Hunt to ask everyone in the house to please exit the residence and secure the residence. This is an interview with, I'm assuming it's Jennifer. Yep. Okay. Because it's redacted. So, on February 27th, 2024, Detective Acosta and I conducted a digitally recorded sworn interview with Jennifer and it gives the location. And it states below is a synopsis of her statement. I introduced myself to Jennifer and informed her I was going to be the lead detective of this investigation. I informed Jennifer that Detective Hunt had provided me with a synopsis of what had occurred the day Madeline went missing. I informed Jennifer I had been advised she had a new job and she had asked Maddie and Stephan to sleep upstairs because she needed to get rest, which she stated that was correct. According to Jen, Maddie had her birthday party on February 25th, 2024, beginning at 1500 hours and ending at an unknown time. Jennifer had not attended due to being at work. Jennifer advised her sister had dropped Madeline off at her house at approximately 20:30 hours, and she believes Stephan had arrived shortly after that time. Stephan informed Jen that Maddie had taken her nighttime medication and was getting ready for bed, which consisted of taking a shower. Jennifer arrived at the house from work at approximately 22:30 hours and sent Madeline and Stephan to bed at approximately 2300 hours. I asked Jennifer where Madeline and Stephan slept, and she stated upstairs in bedroom number 4. I asked Jen if it was normal for Stephan and Maddie to sleep in the same room, which she stated sometimes she would send them upstairs when she needed a really good night's sleep. Jen also advised that sometimes they would all sleep together in the king-size bed, and other times Stephan would sleep upstairs, meeting Maddie, and she would sleep alone. Jen advised it usually depended on everyone's schedule for the following day. I asked Jen what time she had woken up on February 26, 2024, to which she stated she believed sometime between 8 and 8:15 because Stephan had gone into the room to put the leash on the dog. Jen got up to assist Stephan with placing the leash on the dog because she did not want him to pee on the bed. Jen heard people in the kitchen, and as far as she knew, Madeline had gone downstairs to get ready for school. Jen then stated Madeline had a makeshift room in the living room that had a television, a desk, a dresser, and a bed. Maddie only used this room to hang out and would never sleep there. Here is a video of Madeline's makeshift room located right off from the kitchen/living room. Notice the holes in the partition wall there. You can see right through them. These photos are located in a photos video on my page. I'm not exactly sure which one. Her room is beautiful. I wonder why she never wanted to sleep there. I can't help but recall her talking to the counselor about Stephan being there all the time and always on the couch right where she slept. I asked Jen if she visibly observed Maddie on the morning of February 26, 2024, to which she stated, quote, no. I asked if she had heard her, and she stated she heard people in the kitchen but was not sure if it was her specifically. Jen then stated the last time she had physically seen Maddie was on February 25th, 2024 at 2300 hours when she had sent her to bed. On February 26, 2024, Jen got out of bed at approximately 9 o'clock hours and left the residence around 9:30 because she had a doctor's appointment scheduled for 10:15. Jen returned home at approximately 11 and 11:15 hours and believed Stephan was home at this time. I asked Jen what she and Stephan did when they reunited at the residence. Jen stated they chatted for a little bit and she had asked what happened. In quotes. I asked what she meant when she stated Stephan had called her around 10:18 to let her know he and Maddie had not gone to McDonald's as planned. According to Jen, Maddie and Stephan had planned to leave early and have a special breakfast at McDonald's, and he would then drop her off at school early because she wanted to arrive early. Stephan told Jen that on the way to school, Maddie was very sleepy and wanted to sleep, not get McDonald's, and just wanted to get dropped off. He also wanted to let her know he left his phone at home by accident and had gone to the vape shop, but they had not opened on time. Stephan waited for a while in front of the vape shop, and after they did not open, he went back home. After hanging out with Jen for a while, Stephan left again to go to the vape shop to get what he needed. Jen then asked if I wanted the name of the vape shop because she believed it might be helpful if I wanted to look at surveillance. I then told Jen I was advised at some point Stephan had gotten a flat tire and was not able to go to school with her. I asked Jen to advise me how she became aware Maddie was not at school. Jen stated she normally left her residence at approximately 14:30 hours and waited for an hour for her to get out before the bell rang. Jen waited the entire time, and when the bell rang, she noticed Maddie was not one of the first ones to come out like she normally was. Jen then realized she was holding up the parent line at approximately 16:10 hours. Jen drove away. Jen was not sure if Maddie knew she was going to pick her up. Therefore, she drove to the address where her grandmother worked at, located at, and it redacts that address, and checked on the way to see if she observed Maddie walking. When she arrived at her mother's job or the grandma's job, she asked if Maddie was there, to which she was advised it was still too early. Jen then parked on Hunters Park Lane to see if she would see Maddie walking. At approximately 16:30 hours, Jen knew Maddie should have reached their grandmother's office. Jen went back to the grandmother's office and asked if she was there, and she was told not yet. Jen then contacted Maddie's friend and asked if she was with her, and the friend informed her that Maddie had not gone to school and that she was not in first or second period. She asked the friend, quote, what do you mean? We dropped her off close to the school. She should have walked to school. The friend informed Jen that Maddie was not in any of their periods. Jen then began to panic because she believed something was wrong. Jen emailed a few of her teachers, and one replied saying Maddie had not made it to his class and had not made it to school at all. Jen began to freak out and contacted 911. I asked Jen if it was common for Maddie to not have her phone, which she stated it was common for her to forget it. She has ADHD and is extremely forgetful and loses track of time. I asked Jen to explain to me where she looked for Maddie, and Jen stated after speaking with the friend, she went to the school to confirm her attendance. However, it was already closed. Jen backtracked and drove to the grandmother's office. After Stephan heard Maddie did not show up, he went to the grandma's office. They all waited for law enforcement to arrive at the grandma's office, and they did not return home until they were done speaking with the police. I asked Jen where Maddie's phone was at the time she had gone to pick up Maddie, to which she stated she had taken it with her when she went to pick her up from school. Jen advised when Maddie forgot her phone, she would bring it to her when she would pick her up. Jen tried to look through Maddie's phone while waiting for the police. However, she was in a panic and handed the phone to her sister and niece. They both went through Maddie's phone and they did not see anything weird on her phone. I asked Jen where they looked for Maddie, which she stated was in the Hunters Creek area, and they returned home at approximately 20 hours to 21 hours. I asked Jen if they went back out after that, to which she stated Stephan had gone back out in the middle of the night in her vehicle. And we just saw that when I was showing you the pictures. I explained to Jen her residence was going to be secured and everyone was going to have to stay somewhere else for the night. I also explained Stephan's car would be towed to the sheriff's office for processing because Maddie was last seen in Stephan's car. I provided Jen with my cell phone and asked her to let me know where she and Stephan were going to stay. I explained to her she could call me at any time if she needed to speak with me. Now we're getting into the second interview of Stephan Sterns. All right. So the second interview of Stephan Sterns states, on February 28, 2024, Detective Acosta and I conducted a second digitally recorded sworn interview with Stephan Sterns. Below is a synopsis of his statement. I asked if I had his consent to download his phone or if I needed a search warrant to collect the contents. Stephan said it was fine and provided me his phone PIN. I advised Stephan that while digital forensics was looking through Maddie's phone, they noticed there was a lot of communication between Maddie and him. I asked Stephan to explain the relationship between him and Maddie.
If you want to see that video, it has this thumbnail, and the first interview with Jen and Stephan that you just heard the synopsis of are on my page as well.
Stephan stated he was like a stepfather to Maddie, and she thinks of him as a dad. I asked Stephan what he and Maddie spoke about when they would FaceTime, and he stated he would speak to both Maddie and, I guess, Jennifer. When I asked Stephan if he recalled what time they had factory reset his phone, he stated he was not sure because he was not a morning person, but believed it was before he went to the smoke shop. Stephan then stated the update had a weird option about reinstalling everything, and he was not paying attention to what he was doing. I asked if he could explain to me how he did an update, and he stated it was a push notification that appeared at the top, and he had ignored it for a long time. Stephan stated this took him to a page with a, quote, system, and he clicked something and was not sure what happened because he was not paying attention. After starting the update, the phone reset. I asked Stephan to explain to me what he did when he returned to get his key fob. Stephan stated he parked, ran inside to grab the key fob, and got back in his vehicle, and then left the complex for his, quote, morning mission. Stephan stated after he dropped Madeline off at 8:40 hours, he drove directly to the smoke shop and waited approximately 5 or 10 minutes for them to open. I asked Stephan if he went anywhere else after the smoke shop, and he stated he was probably driving towards the direction of home and did not recall stopping anywhere. I advised Stephan his vehicle was seen heading south again at 10 o'clock and asked what he had done between 8:40 and 10. Stephan stated he had been, quote, cruising around a little bit. I told Stephan he had originally stated he had been at the smoke shop for about 5 minutes and headed home. Stephan stated he may have been lingering in the area, but had made his way home. I advised Stephan I needed help explaining why there was an hour and 20-minute gap, which he stated he was not sure what to say since it had been a normal day. Stephan again stated the smoke shop was supposed to open, and he made his way there and was not in any rush. Stephan again stated he was not able to explain the time delay since he had not gone anywhere in particular. I asked Stephan where he went after the smoke shop, and he said home. I asked Stephan if the smoke shop was 10 minutes from his residence, to which he stated it was 15 to 20 minutes. I reminded Stephan he had originally stated it was a 10-minute drive, and he advised time was not a strong suit of his. Detective Acosta asked Stephan what time the smoke shop opened, which he stated at 10 o'clock. Detective Acosta then informed Stephan if it opened at 10 and he dropped Maddie off at 8:40, he would be going an hour before they were scheduled to open. Stephan stated he did not think it would be open, but he hoped it would. He hoped he would get there early enough for them to open. Stephan then stated he had arrived about 15 to 20 minutes before they had opened. Stephan then said he waited a few minutes after 10 for them to open, but realized they were not opening, and then he left. Detective Acosta stated he had not waited past 10 since the vehicle was heading southbound on John Young Parkway at 10. Stephan stated his vehicle was still in front of the smoke shop at 10, waiting for them to turn the open sign on, and I advised Stephan his time frame was not making sense. According to Stephan, he was trying to help us the best he could. I reminded Stephan of what he had stated about how he was there at 10 when it was approximately a 10-minute drive from where he dropped Madeline off. Stephan stated he had taken no particular route to the smoke shop, but he had made his way there. I asked Stephan if he had issues with his memory, and he stated he was diagnosed with ADHD. He did not have his phone on him and was not sure of the time, and if he had a clock in the car, he stated he believed he did, but it was not his car. Stephan then stated he was 90% sure he was in the smoke shop parking lot around 10 o'clock. I asked Stephan if when we returned to get his key fob, if Maddie had gone inside with him. Stephan stated she had not because she was asleep. I asked Stephan again about the location where he got his flat tire. Stephan stated everything looked the same and he was drawing a blank about any specific business and only recalled pulling into a plaza. Stephan stated he was driving towards John Young Parkway and US 192 when it occurred. Stephan recalled going to a Target on US 192 near Walmart and was going to go to House of Cards but got a flat tire somewhere before he got to Oak Street. Stephan was not sure how long it took to change his tire, but believed he returned home at approximately 14:35 hours. Stephan again apologized and stated his brain did not work properly because he had ADHD. While speaking with Stephan, I noticed he was wearing a blue t-shirt. In the videos from earlier in the day, Stephan was observed wearing a red t-shirt. Stephan stated he had not changed clothes since the previous morning and did not believe he had showered either. I asked Stephan if I could take a picture of his hands, to which he advised it was fine. In the picture, I noticed Stephan had a significant scar approximately 2 to 3 inches long on the top part of his right wrist. Stephan also had minor scratches to the top of his left hand. I informed Stephan his phone was going to be downloaded overnight and he would probably not get back until the following morning, and he stated that was fine. Let me read that last part for you again. I asked Stephan if I could take pictures of his hands, to which he advised it was fine. In the pictures, I noticed Stephan had a significant scar, approximately 2 to 3 inches long, on the top part of his right wrist. Stephan also had minor scratches to the top part of his left hand. I informed Stephan his phone was going to be downloaded overnight and he would probably not get back until the following morning, and he stated that was fine. On February 28, 2024, at approximately 1 o'clock, I left Jen's residence. Officers of the Kissimmee Police Department stayed on scene and assured nobody re-entered the residence. Detective Acosta maintained visual contact with the silver Lincoln as it was towed by the wrecker service to the Sheriff's Office Central Operations Center, and Detective Acosta also took Stephan's cell phone to the Orange County Sheriff's Office for Digital Forensics Unit. They immediately began processing the device. On February 28, 2024, multiple detectives within the Orange County Sheriff's Office responded to Central Operations Center and began assisting with the investigation. Several orders were authored, including I'm assuming a digital forensic on Madeline's social media, a search warrant on the silver Lincoln, tracking orders on vehicle bearing Florida tags, and it gives that. A search warrant on Jen's residence, a search warrant on Maddie's Discord account, Google search warrant on email address, and it gives that. An infotainment system search warrant on the GPS located in the Lincoln. And it continues on. Please see supplemental report. During this time, it was discovered that Jen's vehicle had been driven on February 27th between the hours of 3:27 and 4:25 in the area of US 192. Jen's vehicle had also traveled on February 28th between 4:42 and 10:55 between US 192 and Southwest to Northport, Florida. After Stephan's phone had been successfully downloaded the morning of February 28th, Sergeant Stumack with the Digital Forensics Unit contacted Corporal Avalia to advise him there was child sexual abuse material on Stephan's cell phone. During the review of the pictures, we observed several images that contained Madeline performing oral sex on a member. Trigger warning, I apologize. It's about to get bad. Madeline being penetrated both in the front and in the back with a member, and Madeline posing nude. In these pictures, the background was readily identifiable, and we were able to determine these incidents occurred at, and it gives the address. In a picture located on Stephan's phone, we observed a black mark near the tip of the shaft in a picture of a member. At this time, Kissimmee Police Department was advised of the findings, and Detective Brandon and Detective Mark responded to Central Operations Center. The search warrant for Jen's residence was served on February 28th at 8 o'clock. In the residence, detectives were able to locate several items observed in the CSAM images located in Stephan's phone. While conducting the investigation early on in the afternoon of February 28th, members of Jen's family requested to travel to the Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations Center to attend the sheriff's press conference. Jen and Stephan were offered a ride by Detectives Hunt and Acosta. They agreed to the rides and were driven separately.
If you would like to hear that audio, it's in a video with this thumbnail.
Upon their arrival, Detective Corporal Illigan, Detective Morris, and I made contact with probably Jennifer. As we spoke to Jennifer, members of the Violent Crime Squad continued to canvass the area for video surveillance. Prior to finishing the interview with Jennifer, I was advised that Violent Crimes Squad had located a video of Stephan discarding something in the trash compactor located at his apartment complex on February 26th at 7:35. In this video, they observed a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat of the vehicle. The female appeared to be completely slumped over and with her mouth ajar. At this time, Detective Baldaris established custody of the trash compactor until Waste Management arrived for their regularly scheduled pickup. Detective Baldaris then followed the trash compactor to the address where the compactor was emptied. Contact was made with Waste Management District Manager, who provided a separate area for the compactor to be emptied. This person was provided an approximate date and time that Stephan Sterns was seen throwing the tire into the compactor. Based on the information, the person was able to provide an approximate location where the tire would be located in the contents of the compactor. The Orange County Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit responded to the location, was able to locate the intact tread of a tire, which they advised matched the tread pattern of the rear passenger tire of Stephan's vehicle. In close proximity to the tire, the crime scene investigators located a white trash bag that contained a black backpack with what appeared to be purple Hawaiian print and a white crock inside the backpack.
Here are some photos of them going through the trash and the few things that they found. You can also find this video on my page as well. That video has a thumbnail that looks like this.
CSI located an Orange County Public School computer with Madeline's name on it. Based on this information, it was determined that the backpack and its contents belonged to Maddie. The forensics unit collected the tire, backpack, and crock. Upon reviewing the evidence, it was determined that Kissimmee Police Department would be taking the lead, and the case was subsequently turned over. The Orange County Sheriff's Office remained active in a support role. Detective Corporal and Detective Morris conducted a video and audio recorded sworn interview of Stephan at Central Operations.
That video is on my channel and has this thumbnail.
After Stephan's interview, the Orange County Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit responded to the interview room in reference to a DNA search warrant for Stephan. During this warrant, the CSI took several pictures of Stephan's body and member and collected all his clothing. Detective Junko and I located a black mark on Stephan's member, which was consistent with the member pictured on his cell phone. Pictures of Stephan's scar on his right wrist were also taken. Stephan was taken into custody for the arrest warrant authorized by detectives with the Kissimmee Police Department for sexual battery in a familial or custodial authority and possession of material of sexual performance by a child. Following the interview and search warrant, Jen's vehicle was towed to Central Operations because Stephan's was already there. This one states, on February 29, 2024, the Orange County Sheriff's Office continued to assist the Kissimmee Police Department by continuing to canvass and search areas Stephan had traveled. A search warrant for Jen's vehicle was authored and served on February 29, 2024. On March 1, 2024, Detective Jones responded to the area of Destination Parkway and John Young Parkway to canvass for evidence. During that time, Detective Jones responded to Holiday Inn Club Vacations, located at. While reviewing the surveillance, Detective Jones observed that at approximately 9:40, the target vehicle, which was the silver Lincoln MKZ, turned on to the above business property from Emissary Avenue and then proceeds to their parking garage. While in the parking garage, a male wearing a dark hat, red shirt, and tan pants exited the vehicle and opened the trunk. The male then walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, and proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp body to the truck of the vehicle. On March 1st, 2024, the Kissimmee Police Department issued a bulletin requesting information from the public. In the bulletin, Kissimmee Police Department advised Stephan had changed a flat tire in the area of US 192 and Old Hickory Tree Road. Kissimmee Police Department later received a tip stating she had observed a male matching Stephan's description and vehicle change a tire and directed them to the location. Detectives with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene and located what appeared to be a female wearing a green sweater and blue jeans in the wooded area. Detective Illigan and Detective Morris responded to the address, where they confirmed it was the body of Madeline. On March 1st, 2024, at approximately 1916 hours, I spoke with teletype operator who removed Madeline from the NCIC/FCIC as a missing person. This conducted my involvement in the recovery of Maddie. This is telling us it's the Orange County Sheriff's Office. It gives us the incident number. It states on February 27th, Deputy Joseph responded to the address in Florida in efforts to retrieve scent articles that is related to Madeline.
If you want to see that video, this is the thumbnail for that one.
With the articles collected, I was able to provide the clothing to the K-9 unit and they complete a track. So that's just information about that. And they collected a female black short with white stripes, a pink female undergarment. So these are the items collected for the dogs to pick a scent up on. This states on February 27th, Deputy Joseph responded to the address in Florida where efforts to retrieve scent articles that are related to Madeline. With the articles collected, I was able to provide clothing to the K-9 unit and they complete a track. So I'm wondering if this is just a repeat of what we just saw. Okay, so this is related to a general investigation. It says, it's information about Maddie. She's 13. Her date of birth was February 22nd, 2011. She's a female. She's Hispanic. Her height is 5'1". She weighs 110 pounds. Her hair color is blonde or strawberry, and her eyes are blue. And it tells the address. This is the general investigation. It's not really telling us much. This is another narrative from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and it says in response to, and it doesn't give us, that's redacted. It states on February 28, 2024, at approximately 7:30, I, Detective Junko, responded to the address in reference to assist Detective Tangler with a search warrant at the residence. The above residence was located with the, and it's redacted. Below is a synopsis of my involvement in this case, and they provided scene security. When I arrived on scene, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Corporal Dell, and detectives from the Kissimmee Police Department were there securing the scene. I assisted with maintaining scene security until the Orange County Sheriff's Office Forensic Unit responded to process the residence. Prior to conducting the search, detectives at the site of the search were notified by detective at Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations Building that there was evidence of sexual abuse towards Madeline, a 13-year-old victim, at the hands of her stepfather, Stephan Sterns, the 37-year-old suspect. The evidence was located on Sterns' cellular device. Some of the sexual abuse appeared to have occurred at the address. Contact with, and it's redacted, but it's Madeline's aunt and Madeline's grandpa. And it states, at approximately 9:54, somebody approached detectives on scene. I spoke with them, and a portion of our conversation was audio recorded by Detective Matthew Chang. Below is a synopsis of our conversation. It states that they requested an update and said detectives have already interviewed them. They did not have additional information to provide that was not already known. They were visibly emotional and appeared to be concerned for Maddie's well-being. They said she did not believe Maddie ran away because she did not believe Maddie would do that. They described Maddie's recent birthday celebration and did not know of any reason why Maddie would be upset. To their knowledge, Maddie had not been in communication with any of their family members since she had been reported missing. And now it's telling us about the execution of the search warrant. It states room number 4. At approximately 11:30 hours, I assisted with searching a room in the residence on the second floor identified by a chrome number 4 on the outside of the door. Inside the room, I located a black backpack which had an orange bottle of, quote, So Low lotion in it. The backpack of the bottle identified the product as masturbation cream. I photographed the item and pointed it out to the crime scene investigator, Janik, and she collected it. Let me see.
And here are some photos of that from a video that looks like this on my page titled Case Photos and Important Audio Clips. If you haven't seen it, check it out. There's the Solo lotion by his book bag. There it is in his book bag. And here it is up close.
The back of the bottle identified the product as masturbation cream. I photographed the item, pointed it out to crime scene investigator Janik, and she collected it. I'm assuming it's Maddie's designated space. At approximately 11:50, Detective Surrey and Detective Chang and I made contact with Detective Sangler and Detective Cole via the phone. Via a video call, they showed us digital photographs of presumably Sterns sexually abusing Maddie. The purpose of the viewing of the child sexual abuse material via a video call was to ensure the correct evidence was collected and preserved to the best of our abilities. We examined the clothing worn by both Maddie and Sterns, along with surrounding items such as sheets, blankets, and other articles of clothing. We were able to identify some of the items seen in the photographs in a downstairs area that was previously described by detectives as Maddie's room. The space appeared to be the living room of the apartment turned into a bedroom with a folding room divider between the bedroom space and the kitchen dining room area. The area was located on the far right of the apartment's first floor when you enter from the front door. The items we located were documented and collected by Janik. Contact with the operations manager for security. At the conclusion of the search, I made contact with Corporal Avelia via the phone. Corporal Avelia notified me that the front office staff of the complex had been working on providing video surveillance from the complex. An unknown staff member stated the process to provide the video was going to take approximately 6 hours due to how it had been viewed and downloaded from the system. At approximately 13:45 or 1:45, I made contact with, and it's redacted, who identified himself as the operations manager for security. I provided him with my direct agency phone number and requested he notify me immediately when the video surveillance was ready to be collected. And he provided his phone number to her. I did not hear back from him, but later found out he had been in communication with other Orange County Sheriff's Office detectives. This one is titled Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations. After speaking with, I'm assuming it's that person, I went to Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations building. While there, I maintained security outside of an interview room where Sterns was located and was waiting to be interviewed. Kissimmee Police Department detectives interviewed Sterns, and I monitored a portion of the interview electronically from a room nearby. At the conclusion of this interview, I assisted Kissimmee Police detectives with the collection of photographs, clothing, and DNA evidence from Sterns' person based on a signed warrant they had. I located a black freckle or mark on Sterns' member that was visible in some of the photographs and videos found while examining the photographs and videos of Sterns sexually abusing Maddie. In the photograph used to compare the mark, presumably Sterns was wearing a red and white Deadpool shirt, which was seen in multiple photographs where Maddie was being sexually abused. Orange County Sheriff's Office crime scene investigator Smith collected the evidence. This collection was conducted on the same audio and video recording as Sterns' interview. At some point, while Sterns was in the interview room, I took a vape pen from him, which I discarded in the trash at Kissimmee Police Department's direction. Evidence examination. At one point, while examining the photographs of Maddie being sexually abused to ensure all potential evidence was collected, I located a photograph of Sterns with his face visible and his tongue on, presumably, Maddie's nipple. The photograph was titled, and it gives us that right here, and was found in an album full of photographs of child sexual abuse material of Maddie. Waste management information. On February 29th, Corporal Avelia requested I gather information on the trash collection procedures at the complex Sterns and Jen lived in. At approximately 10 o'clock, I made contact with Waste Management by calling, and it gives the phone number. I spoke with Cree, who was unable to access the information for the requested address. Cree transferred me to Ray, referred to as such, from the Florida Area Waste Management Commercial Department. He said Waste Management collected the compactors from the address. The trash would be taken to the Orlando transfer station at that address, serviced by Waste Management Orlando at that address. It is unknown how long the trash would remain before it would be transferred to either Pine Ridge landfill, and it gives that address, or the Vista landfill. Waste Management was the residential hauler for all Osceola County, meaning they picked up any trash from individual residences. They also hauled for any commercial property within the city limits for Kissimmee, Florida. And it continues. Ray said he was the only Ray in the Florida Waste Management Commercial Department, but he could not provide a phone number to be directly connected to him again. He provided a more direct number for the commercial department. Now we're on Emergency Response Team, or ERT, command post. On March 1st, 2024, at approximately 9:22, Corporal Avelia asked me to respond to the address in reference to meeting with Orange County Sheriff's Office ERT team. While there, I was the liaison between ERT and the Criminal Investigations Division. At approximately 12:40, I was notified ERT located large bones in the wooded area. I notified Corporal Avelia, who was with Corporal Richards from Orange County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. Corporal Richards instructed me to contact the medical examiner's office to show them the bones in order to determine if they were from a human. I collected the photographs of the bones and sent them to the medical examiner. Per Dr. Zydwick, they are non-human. The medical examiner stated the bones still needed to be collected and submitted to them. At approximately 13:02 or 1:02, I contacted Orange County Sheriff's Office Forensics and spoke with Corporal Janik, who responded out to collect the bones. I documented this under Osceola County Sheriff's Office case number, and it gives the case number. Emergency response units located a camera at, and it gives the address. I sent this information to Corporal Avelia and requested he have a unit respond to check the cameras. Orange County Sheriff's Office Violent Crime Squad located video footage of Sterns' vehicle at the above address and were able to trace him to other nearby locations where I was told Sterns was seen moving Maddie from the front seat of his vehicle to the trunk. Emergency response team located a pair of underwear and a dress in the same wooded area where the bones were located in, but further south. CSI Janet collected both items. On March 1st, 2024, Orange County Sheriff's Office received confirmation Maddie had been located deceased in Osceola County. This concluded my involvement with this investigation. This states that the officer Junko from the SMEX crimes section, I guess that's where she signed off on it. This is an incident report from Vasquez, and the reporting officer is Vasquez. The assisting officer was Stevens, and they are both from Squad S410. This is an incident report. It doesn't really tell me much except a name. Okay, so here's a narrative. It states, on February 28th at approximately 1940 hours, I, Deputy Vasquez, spoke contact with a caller who stated she may have seen the missing juvenile on Monday, February 26, 2024. My investigation revealed on February 26, 2024, at approximately 1940 hours, I, Deputy Vasquez, I spoke with a caller who stated she may have seen missing juvenile on Monday, February 26, 2024. The female caller, Miss Ann, stated on February 26th at approximately 13:30 hours or 1:30, she was driving on Hunters Creek Boulevard and noticed a young girl crossing the street. Maria stated the young female was wearing a green hoodie and carrying a backpack in one hand and a plastic bag in the other. Maria was unsure of the color of the pants that the female was wearing. She said it might have been white or black. Maria also stated the backpack was cream colored and her shoes were white. Maria stated the female was crossing Hunters Creek Boulevard from the north side to the south side and walking east towards Orange Blossom Trail. Maria stated she remembers it was by an old golf course that was in the area. Maria stated the female was alone when she noticed her crossing the street, and she was driving by when she saw the female. Maria was unsure if it was positively her, but wanted to share the information as it just came to mind. SMEX Crimes was notified and will be routed to SMEX Crimes for further investigation. This concludes my involvement in this case. Now we have this. It's another incident report. Another information that's redacted. This supplemental report states on February 28th at approximately 1950 hours, I, Deputy First Class Devalia, was contacted by Corporal Richards from the Homicide Unit. Corporal Richards requested assistance with utilizing my canine partner, Canine Archer, to conduct a sweep of 2 vehicles for human remains due to the fact that Canine Archer is trained in human remains detection. I then responded to the southern fenced-in parking lot of the Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations located at, and it gives the address. At 20:05, I conducted a sweep of the first vehicle, which was a 2010 Silver Lincoln bearing Florida tag. Archer did not give a final alert of the 2010 Silver Lincoln. At 22:10, I then conducted a sweep of a 2022 Nissan sedan. Upon conducting the sweep, Canine Archer showed a change in behavior and then gave a final alert by the rear passenger wheel well. I informed Corporal Richards of the results. The sweeps were recorded on my agency-issued body-worn camera.
If you would like to see that video, it has this thumbnail.
So here we have another incident report. And it says USB drive, but it's redacted after that. And here we have another narrative or supplemental report, and it states, on February 28, 2024, I, Detective Fisher, responded to, and it's redacted, for the purpose of distributing missing persons flyers and reviewing video at the complex to look for relevant content. Upon arriving at the complex, I passed out flyers at the following addresses, and it gives those. I then went to the office to review video. I observed the following. On February 26, 2024 at 7:35, videos that captured the trash compactor on the property show a male deemed to be Stephan Sterns wearing a red t-shirt and a dark-colored hat worn backwards arrived in a silver Lincoln sedan. Sterns threw a white trash bag filled with items inside the trash compactor before pulling away. A female believed to be Maddie is visible in the front passenger seat. Her head is visible tilted on her left shoulder, and her mouth was open. She was belted into the seat. At 8:19, the Lincoln sedan appears at the front gate where the driver, Sterns, interacted with a security guard before being allowed to enter the gate at the front of the complex. Additional video collected from near the rental office, which captured the roundabout, showed a female believed to be Maddie in the same position as the previous video at 7:36. At 8:31, the silver Lincoln exited the back gate. This video captured the female still in the same position as the other videos, still in the front passenger seat. Due to difficulties with the wireless camera at the rear of the complex, I was not able to obtain further video of the vehicle entering or exiting the back gate. Reviewing the front gate video, I did not observe the silver Lincoln come back through the front gate between 8:30 and 16:40. At 16:35 hours, multiple cameras captured Sterns arriving to the trash compactor in the silver Lincoln sedan. Sterns is wearing what appears to be a blue shirt and a dark-colored hat worn backwards. Sterns walked to the compactor, opened the door, and returned to his vehicle. Sterns removed a damaged tire, what appeared to be the tread of the tire, with no walls. Sterns threw the tire into the compactor. I submitted the video, which I captured on cell phone, to evidence.com under this case number. The videos were exported to a USB, which I will be providing to Kissimmee Police Department to continue this investigation. I also collected visitor log records from the complex for February 26, 2024. I completed a business certification record for the video and log. All videos and documents collected will be turned over to the Kissimmee Police Department. And there they signed off on it. This is another incident report. It states it's from Orange County Sheriff's Office. Reporting Officer Jasmine from Squad VC83, I do believe. This is an incident report from Mr. Belmore. who is 79. And Barbara, his wife, who is 77. I think this is from the Canadian Neighbors. Alrighty. So this supplemental report or narrative reads, on February 26, 2024, the Orange County Sheriff's Office was made aware of a missing juvenile. The juvenile, Maddie, was reported to last have been seen at, and it gives the address, within Orange County, Florida. Deputy Joseph responded to the address and met with reporters, Stephan Michael Sterns, the step-parent, and Jennifer, the parent. On February 28, 2024, I, Detective LaCorey, and it states, I was informed of the incident and responded to the address to assist the investigation. I first located the neighborhood's dumpster, which was behind the basketball courts. The dumpster had a trash compacting function that did not allow for me to see its contents other than the couple of bags that were not yet compacted. I observed several cameras in the area that pointed at the dumpster. I then assisted with door-to-door area canvassing and missing juvenile flyer distribution at the following addresses. And it gives those addresses. At one of the addresses, I made contact with Barbara and Gerald Belmore and interviewed them. I later returned to their residence and conducted a consensual audio recorded sworn interview. I uploaded the recorded interview into evidence via Axon. The following is a summary of those interviews. Barbara and Gerald have spent their winters and springs in the complex for the past 18 years and know Juan, Maddie's grandfather. Juan resided with Maddie and her mother Jennifer for many years and helped raise Maddie. A few years ago, Juan moved out and Jen married Maddie's stepfather, Stephen. Barbara and Gerald believe Stephen worked out of town because they arrived at the complex in December 2023 and they had not seen until approximately a week ago. Barbara and Gerald were unsure of what kind of vehicle he drove, but they had seen him a couple of days back getting into Jen's white vehicle. They described Stephan as a tall white male with a full beard that usually wears a baseball cap backwards. According to Barbara and Gerald, Maddie never walked home to or from school. Jen drove her to and from every day. However, they did not remember seeing her return from school on Monday or Tuesday. They believed the last time they saw her was Saturday or Sunday when she was walking the family dog, which caught their eye because Jen usually walked the dog. I apologize. That one was hard to read with all the redactions. This is an incident report. On Monday night, Barbara looked through her window and observed 3 people at Jen's door. One of them was an adult male, one adult female, and she was unsure about the third one. Barbara saw one of them hug someone. It caught Barbara's eye because the entire family does not have many visitors. Barbara and Gerald described Maddie as a sweet girl adored by her grandfather. They added that she was a homebody and very polite.
If you would like to hear that audio, it's in a video with this thumbnail.
At the conclusion of the area canvass, I responded to the clubhouse, and I guess it gives that address, where I met with detectives and reviewed surveillance video from the dumpster areas and front gates to include a video in which a security guard made contact with Stephan on the morning of the incident. The security guard was later identified as Alex. Was contacted and he responded to the clubhouse, where he was interviewed by Detective Kyle.
If you would like to hear that audio, it's in a video with this thumbnail.
I was present during the interview. Okay, so this is another incident report. It tells us that this is from Baldares. That's information on somebody. This supplemental report states, On February 28, 2024, I responded to the address to assist with the investigation of Madeline's disappearance. Upon arrival, I assisted with canvassing the area for video and handing out flyers to residents. While on scene, it was determined the community trash compactor had not been picked up since her disappearance. I located the trash compactor in the community and established custody of it until Waste Management arrived for their regularly scheduled pickup. I then followed the trash compactor to the address where the compactor was emptied. Contact was made with Waste Management's district manager, who provided a separate area for the compactor to be emptied. That person was provided an approximate date and time that Stephan Sterns was seen throwing the tire into the compactor. Based on that information, he was able to provide an approximate location the tire would be located in the contents of the compactor. The Orange County Sheriff's Forensics Unit responded to the location, was able to locate the intact tread of a tire, which they advised the tread pattern matched the rear passenger of Stephan Sterns' vehicle. In close proximity to the tire, the crime scene investigators located a white trash bag that contained a black backpack with what appeared to be purple Hawaiian print and a white crock. Inside the backpack, CSI located an Orange County Public School computer with Madeline's name on it. Based on this, it was determined the backpack and its contents belonged to Maddie. The forensics unit collected the tire, backpack, and crock. Detectives at, and it gives an address, provided photos of the surveillance video showing Stephan throwing a similar-looking trash bag into the compactor on February 26, 2024 at 7:30. Antonio signed the consent to search portion of a waivers and affidavit form, which provided consent to the Orange County Sheriff's Office employees to search the waste management property and trash compactor to collect the evidence. This concluded my involvement in this case. This states that Weaver and Ogart collected the graphic t-shirt, and I'll put a picture of that in. This just tells us about the gray graphic t-shirt with the word infinite on it. Here's a supplemental report about that. While conducting a canvass in the area of Gateway Avenue and Guilford Boulevard, Orange County Sheriff's Detectives Shaw and I discovered a gray graphic tank top near the bank of a retention pond that was located approximately 50 feet east of the aforementioned intersection. The shirt was approximately 10 to 15 feet west of the bank of this retention pond. The graphic shirt was photographed and later placed into a secure Orange County Sheriff's Office evidence locker.
And again, here is that shirt.
And this is from Officer Nigan from the SMEX crime unit. That's redacted. It doesn't tell us anything. This states a supplemental report. Investigative details. On February 27, 2024, I was assigned to assist Detective Maria in reference to a missing juvenile, 13-year-old Maddie, who was last seen on February 26, 2024 at the address. Neighborhood canvass. I was tasked with assigning deputies to areas to conduct a neighborhood canvass to locate any witnesses. The following are a list of addresses deputies went to and their findings. And all of these say either resident has never seen her or there was no answer to the door. Yeah, all of them. Resident has never seen her, no answer. Resident has never seen her, no answer. Wow. No answer. Resident has never seen her. None of these people ever saw her out of all these apartments. Resident never seen her, no answer. Boy, they went a lot of places too. Resident never seen her, no answer. Residents never seen her. No answer. Residents never seen her. No answer. Residents never seen her. No answer. And now we're moving on to search warrants. This states on February 28, 2024, I authorized an exigent search warrant for the phone numbers and something. The search warrant was signed by Judge Whitehead of the Ninth Judicial Circuit of Orange County, Florida. The signed warrant was provided to the Electronic Surveillance Support Team to be served to the service providers. ESST provided the results of PIN register trap and trace device search warrant for the phone numbers, and they are attached to this report. On February 28, 2024, I authorized an exigent search warrant for Meta Incorporated in reference to Maddie's Instagram account. The search warrant was signed by Judge Whitehead of the Ninth Judicial Circuit, Orange County, Florida, and I submitted the signed warrant to Meta Inc.'s law enforcement portal. On March 1st, 2024, I received a response from Meta Incorporated, and they advised they denied the warrant in reference to the Instagram account. On February 28, 2024, I authorized an exigent search warrant for the vehicle, the white 2010 Nissan Sentra, which is Jen's vehicle. The search warrant was signed by Judge Whitehead of the Ninth Judicial Circuit, Orange County, Florida. The signed warrant was provided to Orange County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit to be executed. On March 1st, 2024, I conducted the search warrant, returned to the Clerk of Courts for the search warrant of the vehicle, the white 2010 Nissan Sentra. Town Place Suites, Orlando at Fleming Crossing. On February 28, 2024, I responded to the address, room 239. I checked with the hotel staff, and they advised that room 239 was checked in by Stephan Sterns, and they had already checked out of the room on February 28, 2024 at approximately noon. Stephan had rented the room for one night only. The hotel staff allowed me to inspect the room. The room had not been cleaned by housekeeping yet, and I observed no personal belongings left behind in the room. Conclusion, I took no further action in this case. And they signed it. Here's an incident report. And it's from Alicia. Another redacted incident report. And here's the narrative or supplemental report. She states, on Thursday, February 29th, while conducting a canvass in the area of Gateway Avenue and Orange Boulevard, I, Detective Alicia, located exterior cameras at the Exxon gas station at the address of... The cameras appeared to be pointed to the street area. Upon review, located what appeared to be a silver car traveling eastbound at approximately 9:16 on February 26, 2024. The vehicle appeared to have no tint on the windows, as you could see through the windows as it drives by. A copy of this video was submitted to Axon. This concludes my involvement in this case. This is Orange County Sheriff's Office, Officer Freeze, and it says close. F-U-R-S, furs, yellow, and they're from the squad child abuse. And this is completely redacted. Victim, property, RCVD, clothes or furs. I wonder if that's an article of clothing they collected. Oh, okay, here we go. Narrative and supplemental report. On Wednesday, February 27, 2024, I, Detective Freeze, responded to the area of, and it gives the address. Upon my arrival, I made contact with Deputy Andrews, who advised that pieces of an unknown article had been located near the pond in the sits behind the residence and other homes in the neighborhood. Photos were taken by Deputy Andrews. Contact was made with the homeowner, Yolanda, so that's Jen's mom, who advised she did not recognize the article. The article is a soft cloth material which is yellow in color. The item was ripped in 3 different pieces. This concludes my involvement in this case. This is Orange County Sheriff's Office, Officer Jones, collecting surveillance footage. And it tells us again surveillance footage. That person says, on March 1st, 2024, Orange County Sheriff's Office Violent Crimes Detective Jones was tasked with assisting in this investigation. After Jones received a short briefing on the latest details of the investigation, he responded to the area of Destination Parkway and John Young Parkway to canvass for evidence. During that time, Jones responded to Holiday Inn Club Vacation located at. Upon arrival, Jones made contact with the business corporate facilities Senior Manager Garcia, who allowed Jones to review their surveillance footage from February 26, 2024. According to the surveillance footage, Jones discovered that approximately 9:40 hours the target vehicle, the gray Lincoln, turned onto the above business's property from Embassy Avenue, then proceeded to the parking garage. At approximately 9:41, the vehicle arrived on the top level of the parking garage and then backed into a parking space. At approximately 9:42, a fair-skinned male wearing what appeared to be a dark hat, reddish shirt, and tan pants exited the vehicle from the driver's seat and walked to the back of the vehicle and opened the trunk. The male then walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, then proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp female body to the trunk of the vehicle. At approximately 9:44, the same male subject entered the driver's seat of the same vehicle and then drove away. The vehicle was then seen exiting the parking garage from the ground level and then leaving the business's property onto Embassy Avenue. Jones then collected the surveillance footage as well as a signed business record certification from Garcia to later be placed in the evidence at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Okay, this is from Officer Chang and Avelia from Smex Crimes. And that's all redacted. This is a narrative that could either be redacted or it could just be the top page. I don't know. But as you can see, it's all white. And here we start the incident report or supplemental report, and it's titled Investigative Detail. It starts Investigative Detail. On February 27, 2024, I, Detective Matthew Chain, responded to the address to assist Detective Maria Tangler in reference to a missing persons investigation. Search warrant. On February 27th, I authorized a search warrant to search the residence of the 13-year-old victim, Madeline, located at the address. The warrant was subsequently signed by the Honorable Judge Reginald Whitehead. Review of traffic cameras. On February 27th, 2024, through law enforcement resources, I observed a silver Lincoln sedan with the Florida license plate traveling through multiple locations in Orange and Osceola County, Florida. The silver Lincoln was registered to Stephan Sterns' father, but was primarily used by Stephan Sterns. The information I observed was provided to Kissimmee Police Department Detective Illiger and Tangler. On February 28, 2024, Kissimmee Police Department Detective Illiger provided me additional information regarding the location of Stephan's vehicle as it traveled through St. Cloud and Osceola County. The information obtained was forwarded to Detective Tangler and the Orange County Sheriff's Office command post. Search of, and I'm assuming that's the residence because it's redacted. On February 28, 2024, I was served the search warrant for the address and assisted the Orange County Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit in searching the apartment. Simultaneously during the search, detectives learned of photographs and videos on Stephan's phone where Stephan appeared to have sexual intercourse with the 13-year-old victim, Madeline. We were able to locate multiple articles of clothing worn by Stephan and Maddie in the photos. Multiple articles of bedding and towels observed in the photos were located as well. All items were documented and collected by Orange County Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit for evidence. On February 29, 2024, I assisted Osceola County Forensics Unit in collecting additional evidence from the address. I transported Stephan's cell phone from Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operations Building to a redacted address to reference the photographs located on the phone during the search. Numerous additional clothing items, towels, and bedding was located inside the apartment located at the above address. Stephan's cell phone remained in my possession and was returned to a secured digital evidence locker located at the Orange County Sheriff's Office Central Operation Building after the search. All evidence found at the apartment was documented and collected by the Osceola County Forensics Unit. It should be noted, prior to the search warrant of Stephan's apartment, I was advised there was photographs located on Stephan's phone where he appeared to record his roommate, Natalie, I'm assuming, in secret. While at the apartment, I was able to utilize Stephan's cell phone and recreate the angle of contents in the photograph by placing his cell phone under the crack of her bedroom door. I photographed the placement of Stephan's cell phone and uploaded it into the evidence room.
And here is a video of the officer doing just that.
Download and review of Google Drive search warrant return. On March 1st, 2024, I assisted Detective Tangler with downloading and conducting an initial review of the Google search warrant return of the Google account belonging to Stephan Sterns. During the initial interview, I observed numerous photographs in the return, which I had also observed to be located on Stephan Sterns' cell phone as well. On March 4th, 2024, the evidence was transferred on a hard drive to Kissimmee Police Detective Morris. Disposition. This is a supplemental report, and they signed it. This is from Orange County Sheriff's Office, Officer Calise with homicide. General investigation is what it's titled. And mostly redacted. Oh, victim 3, 1, and it's mostly redacted. This states, on Wednesday, February 28, 2024, Detective Calise with the Orange County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit assisted in investigating a missing person juvenile. The juvenile was identified as Maddie. The following is Detective Calise's involvement with the case. Detective Calise was tasked with authoring historical phone orders for Jen and Stephan Sterns, her boyfriend, and Maddie, the missing person. Below are their phone numbers, and it's redacted. On the historical phone orders, once the historical phone orders were authored, all orders were reviewed and approved by the Honorable Judge Whitehead. Once the orders were approved, they were submitted to the phone companies with the assistance of FDLE. Also, on Wednesday, February 28, Detective Calise, along with Orange County Sheriff's SMEX Crimes Detective Acosta, interviewed with one of them. This interview was conducted at the Orange County Sheriff's Central Operations Building. The interview was audio recorded and uploaded to evidence.com. The following is a synopsis of the interview. It should be noted that Detective Calise did not conduct the entire interview. After answering a few questions, Detective Calise stopped the interview and waited for detectives from Kissimmee Police Department. The following is a synopsis of Detective Calise's interview. So this is going to be with Jen. During the interview, Jen confirmed that Maddie lives with her and her boyfriend of approximately 7 years, Stephan Sterns. As the interview continued, Jen stated that on rare occasions, Maddie and Stephan slept in the same bed. According to Jen, the reason for this is so she could get some sleep because sometimes all three of them sleep in the same bed. Jen also confirmed with Detective Calise that she and Stephan had been sexually intimate. Detective Calise presented Jen with various images that were recovered from Stephan's cell phone.
I wanted to give you a real quick trigger warning and let you know if you want to hear this audio, it's in a video with this thumbnail.
The first image was a hand placed on the buttocks of a white female. After viewing the image, Jen identified this hand belonging to Stephan. Next, Detective Khalees showed Jen a close-up photograph of a white male member. Jen viewed the picture but was unable to identify the member. Detective Khalees then presented Jen with another image of a member pulled over a pair of pants. Again, Jen viewed the image and identified the member as belonging to Stephan. Jen believed this was Stephan's member based on the clothing and blanket near the member. A few moments later, Detective Khalees paused the interview with Jen and waited for Kissimmee police detectives to respond so the interview could continue. Detective Khalees did not participate in this interview with Jen once Kissimmee detectives arrived. On Thursday, February 29, 2024, Detective Khalees, along with other Orange County Sheriff's Office homicide detectives, conducted an extensive area canvass near Old Hickory Tree Road. The canvass was met with negative results.
This concludes Detective Khalees' involvement in this case, and they signed off.
Here we have another incident report from Orange County Sheriff's Office with Officer Sabal. And this is recordings, audio, visual, DVR. It tells us some witnesses. And here we have the narrative or supplemental report. This supplemental report was on February 28, 2024, the briefing. On February 28, 2024, at 10 a.m., I was briefed regarding the missing person case of Madeline. Contact with Kissimmee Police Department. I was tasked with meeting with Kissimmee Police Department Detective Illigan. It was learned the vehicle of Stephan Sterns, a Lincoln, was observed traveling on Hickory Tree Road as it passed Hickory Tree Elementary School. I was informed the vehicle passed the school on Monday, February 26, 2024 at approximately 1:12 p.m. as it traveled south towards Nolte Road. On Monday, February 26, 2024 at approximately 2:17 p.m., the same vehicle passed the school traveling north towards Interstate 192. I met with Detective Illigan of the Kissimmee Police Department at the Hickory Tree Elementary School. I made contact with O'Neill and conducted a sworn audio recorded statement with her outlining the fact that she was the custodian of records for the surveillance video at the school. Ms. O'Neill provided surveillance video electronically. This states the canvas. Next, I conducted a canvass along Old Hickory Tree Road. I located a black car tire on the vacant field associated with CMEX. I contacted Orange County Sheriff's Office forensics and investigator Marcus responded and collected the tire. It was later learned this vehicle tire was irrelevant to this investigation. Video surveillance collection. I located potential business cameras to the north of the vacant lot where the tire was located. The cameras were affixed to Rocker's lockers located at, and it gives the address. I made contact with business representative Deja. Deja was unable to download the video. Digital forensics investigator Chan responded and collected the DVR to extract the video. I further located cameras on the Osceola window and doors located at, and it gives the address. I made contact with Miss Bateman and conducted a sworn audio recorded statement with her detailing the video collection. Bateman was unable to extract the surveillance video, and investigator Chan responded and extracted the video. Towing a vehicle. At 8:30, I responded to Town Place Suites in Flamingo Crossings located at, in reference to towing a 2022 Nissan four-door sedan bearing Florida tag. I located the vehicle in the parking lot and towed it to Orange County Sheriff's Office. I followed the vehicle as it was being towed and relinquished custody to Orange County Sheriff's Office forensics investigator Miller. On February 29th, interview with, that is Stephan's ex-girlfriend. On February 29th, interview with Stephan's ex. On February 29th, 2024, Miss Alejandro called Orange County Sheriff's Office and reported she possibly had information on the case. Kissimmee Police Department Detective Smallwood and I responded to her residence and conducted an interview with her. The following is a general summary of her sworn and audio recorded interview. She reported she came to know Stephan through working with him at Disney. She explained their relationship became intimate around December of 2022 and ended in May of 2023. During this time, she stated Stephan's told her she was separated from his girlfriend, Jen. She stated Stephan's told her although he was separated from his girlfriend, he still slept at Jen's residence and specifically in the bed with Maddie. She stated Stephan justified this behavior by saying he needed to cuddle with her so she could fall asleep. She further recalled a conversation she had with Stephan's where he told her that he woke up in bed with Maddie with an erection and had to turn around in the bed. She felt the comments Stephan Sterns made to her about sleeping with Maddie were inappropriate and she stopped talking to him shortly after they were made.
If you would like to hear that interview, it's in a video with this thumbnail.
March 1st, 2024. Interview with Stephen Young. Detective Ramirez and I were tasked with making contact with Stephen Young at a possible address of and is redacted. As I knocked on the door, I was greeted by Stephen and his wife. They invited us into the home and agreed to speak with us. Stephen described he was close friends with Stephan Sterns and his daughter was best friends with Maddie. Stephen Young said he and his family moved to Colorado, but just flew back after learning Maddie was missing. Stephen had no information on the case. The interview with Stephen was audio recorded.
If you would like to hear that interview, it's in a video with this thumbnail.
This is another SMEX crimes report, and it's property, the croc, the white left croc, slipper size 5 to 7, and the blue gloves. This is redacted, but it states left croc slipper and 2 blue gloves. I'm going to read this last narrative, and that's going to be it for this video. Supplemental report. On February 28th, I responded to the address to supervise the execution of a search warrant. During the search, Orange County Forensics was present, photographed the residence, and collected numerous items of clothing and bedding which were identified as being in contact with the victim during sexual abuse. Most of the items were collected from the downstairs bedroom and divided off sleeping area in the living room. Some additional items were collected from the upstairs bedroom identified with a number 4 on the door. After forensics left the residence, a roommate named arrived and requested items from her bedroom. I escorted her while she collected clothing and toiletries from her room and left the residence. At approximately 1640 hours, I was notified that Orange County Sheriff's Office emergency response team members located a glove in the wooded area to the north of the apartment. I responded to collect the gloves. The gloves were located approximately 30 feet into the wood line on the ground. One glove was balled up inside of the other. I photographed the glove and surrounding area before placing them into an evidence envelope and later returned them over to forensics.
And here are some photographs of the gloves collected out by Madeline's house. If you look closely, you can see how one glove is balled up inside of the other. This is in a video on my page as well.
And later turned them over to forensics. At approximately 1719, forensics manager Vanessa called me and notified me that they located some of Maddie's belongings in the trash, including a single white crock. CSI Janik recalled seeing the Crocs in the downstairs bedroom. I returned to the residence and looked in the downstairs bedroom for white Crocs. I located 3 white Croc shoes near the window, one pair of women's size 8 and a single left shoe size 5 to 7, which matched the right size 5 to 7 located in the trash.
And here are some photos of all of that as well. First, you're going to see them in the residence as they found them and photographed them. And then you're going to see a video of the one that they found in the dumpster.
I took photographs of the shoes, packaged the shoe, and later turned it over to forensics as well. I remained on scene until Kissimmee police detectives arrived and took control of the scene. We are on page 101, and this video is already going to be super long, so I'm going to end it here. I do appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end. I cannot thank you enough. If you don't mind, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I will put out more videos soon where I continue going through this 800-page document. Thank you so much for watching, and have the best day ever.